Okay, we're going to be working on Unit 3, Lesson 3 notes. This is adding and subtracting of polynomials. This should be a review from what you went over in IM2. So the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to add h of x plus k of x. So easiest way to do that, we're going to take our h of x and we're going to go 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. And we're going to add it to k of x, which is negative x squared minus 3x plus 4. And we're going to combine the like terms, so the ones that have the largest exponents first. So we have 2x squared plus a negative 1x squared. And so we just get x squared. Then we're going to go 5x minus 3x, give us 2x. And a negative 12 plus 4, which will give us negative 8. And that is your answer for that one. We're going to go on to the next one. So we're going to take our g of x, and we're going to add it to f of x. So our g of x, we look over here. Those are all our problems. So we're going to take our g of x, which is 2x minus 1, adding it to f of x, x to the third plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 10. Horrible looking x, but we get it. And now we're going to start with the largest exponent, which is x cubed. And it doesn't have any partners, so we're just going to write it. And then we're going to go to x squared. There is no other x squared. Then we're going to go to x. So we have a 2x minus 2x. They basically cross themselves out. And we're going to go negative 1 plus 10 will give you a 9. Okay. Next ones are a little bit different. What we're going to be doing is we're going to combine two graphs and make it into one. Now, the easiest thing to do is we're going to find out what points they have in common, the x values they have in common, and we're going to add the y values. Okay? So here we have m of x. So at negative 5, here's m of x and nx. Unfortunately, we have a value for negative 5 on the mx, but we don't have it over here. But we do have a negative 3. So this one is negative 3, comma 7. And then so we're going to look on our other ones. So at negative 3, we can see we meet here. So we're going to go negative 3, comma 4. And we're going to have it at negative 3, but we're going to add the 7 plus 4 to make our new point. So if we combine those together, adding those two, our new point would be negative 3, 11, which would be way off our graph, way up here somewhere. Now let's look for another point. Looks like this one would be a good one. So this one is negative 2, 2. And if we look over here, negative 2, we have 3. So negative 2, comma 3. So our new point is going to stay negative 2. And we're going to go 2 plus 3 is 5. So at negative 2, we're going to put a dot at 5. Okay. Now we're going to find another one, and we can say definitely right here we can get negative 1, comma negative 1. And here negative 1, this one is at 2. Add them together so we know the x's stay the same. Negative 1 plus 2 will just give us 1. So negative 1 1. And of course, we always want to do the vertex. The vertex I'm going to put down here, 0, comma, -2. And here it would be 0, comma, 1. Add them together. -2 plus 1 gives us -1. And then we keep going up the next way. We don't have to do all of these points, but sometimes they just make it a lot easier for us. And since we're going back up, I'm going to do a different color just so it makes it easier to see. Let's see. We'll do this point. This one is 1, comma, -1. Here, 1 would be 1, 0. 1, comma, 0. So our new point would be 1, and then -1 plus 0 is -1. -1. And then we go up to here. We can see this one is 2, 2. And if we want to here, it would be 2, comma, -1. Our new point would be 2, and then we're going to add in 2 plus -1 will give us 1. Would be up here. And I think you can sort of see we are going to get another parabola shape. Not this best mine that I've done. Whoa, that's a really crazy looking one. But you get the idea. Okay. Now the next one we're going to do is L and P of X. This one, remember, if we want to put a little comment here, so we add the Y values of corresponding points. And we're just going to pick about 4 points from P of X. We're going to add it to L of X, and it's right if we did flip them. It's still the same thing because we're going to do the new one. And we're going to equal it to find our new points here. All right, so if we look at P of X, so P of X up here, we can see we're going to take 1. We're going to say this one is 1, so that's 0, -7. And L of X up here, we're going to go 0, and it's at 2. Okay, so 0, 2. Let's find another point. I like to do the cubes first because it makes it a little easier. So 1, -1 right there. And this one at 1. We can see it is at 3. Let's see, we know at 2, it's at 0. And at 2 here, it's at 4. And our last point we're going to find at 3, it's at 1. And here at 3, it's at 5. So if we're going to add all of these up to get our new point, and so we know the x's are going to stay the same. So -7 plus 2 will give us -5. We know the 1's going to stay, the 2's going to stay, and the 3 is going to stay. -1 plus 3 is going to give us 2. 0 plus 4 is 4. And 1 plus 5 will give us 6. And then we graph it. At 0, it's at -5. At 1, it's at +2. At 2, it's it's going to be at 4. And at 3, it's going to be a little bit above the graph. And we can see it's sort of curving a little bit because it's not exactly linear anymore. But we can see it's going to be a little bit more stretched out. A little more stretched out cubic function. All right, now this one, we are going to be doing subtraction, okay? So we're going to take, and here's all our points and all our graphs are up here. So we're going to take, and this one we do have to go in order. So take our h, 4x squared minus x minus 15, and I'm going to minus it from k of x, negative x squared plus 7x plus 4. Now, the trick when it is a negative is we're going to change the sign to a positive in the middle, but we're distributing that negative to everything in the second parentheses, and that just means everything changes signs. So that negative becomes a positive, this one becomes a negative, this one becomes a negative, and then we combine it. So start with the largest exponents. 4x squared plus x squared gives us 5x squared. Negative x minus 7x will give us negative 8x. And negative 15 minus 4 will give us negative 19. We get our answer. Now our next one, we're going to go f of x. And we always have to go in order when we're doing subtraction. Take our problem. And we're going to subtract it from h of x. We want to change our symbols. So we're going to change this one to a plus, and everything here is going to change signs. And we combine. Okay, so we're going to go x cubed first, and that's the only one we have. Then we're going to go x squared, so 2 minus 4, negative 7x plus x, and negative 8 plus 15, and you get your answer. All right, so for the last ones, we're going to do the same thing. And I'm just going to cross this one off so we can have a little bit more room with this one, and that's all right. So we're going to take our L of x and minus it from M of x. And we're going to do our points too. So here we can see we do have our points here. And I'm going to pick, so negative 5, negative 2. I'm just skipping around. We don't have to do all of them. 0 and 5. And we have to find those points on the other graph. So 5, negative 5, negative 2, 0, and 5. Okay, and let's write those down. So we're going to go take our L of x, and we're going to subtract it from our M of x. And we're going to get our new points. So I'm just going to go ahead and write our points. For L of x and our M of x. It's going to be a 0. And remember, on these, we are subtracting to get our new point. Our x's are going to stay the same. It's just our y values that are changing. Just going to go on ahead and write our x values. So here we get negative 6 -3 minus a +6. So -3 minus 6 will give us -9, which will go way off the graph. Then we're going to get 0 minus 3. We'll get -3. So it's -2, -3. And then we're going to get 2 minus 1. We'll get a 1. And 7 minus a -4, that just means you're going to add them together, and that will give us an 11. And that will take us really off the graph. But we can see, whoops, with our 2 points, writing with these, we don't always get it perfectly. We get this. All right. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and work on these and then work on the assignment.